When it comes to feline communication and what your cat is trying to tell you, body language is both king and queen. As a loving and responsible owner, being able to read your cat's cues can make life so much easier for you and your pet. Once you're on the same page, the sky is the limit when it comes to building that all-important respect, trust, and loyalty. Being able to crack the code to your cat's tendencies, emotional state, and essential needs and wants is very important. And when it comes to body language, your cat's tail can often serve as the tower of communication. In this material, we will talk about what your cat's tail could be telling you and what those shapes and movements truly mean. Cats rarely do anything by accident. Most everything contains a message, and today's objective is to give you the right playbook to help you succeed. Interesting topic, and I've got you covered. Stay tuned. Attention to detail. As a cat owner, especially as a first-time owner, this important quality can often get lost in the mixture of the full recipe. Being a cat owner is a big responsibility, and some things obviously stand out far more than others. The basic and obvious essentials taking center stage. However, your cat's tail carries a message, and by learning these messages, you can learn more about your pet in a very real way. With that said, let's talk tail posture. The tall tail, as it's sometimes called, the firm tail, the tower. If your cat's tail is upright, this is typically a sign that your pet is relaxed and content, feeling secure about the current environment, feeling secure and confident about you. Your cat is chill and happy, and this is the sweet spot. Give me this daily and twice on Sunday. What about a bit of a curve in the tail? If the tip of your cat's tail has a bit of an arc, this is also another sign of chill mode. Once again, your pet is comfortable and content with what's going on, happy with you, happy with the environment, perhaps lacking just a touch of confidence, less boastful, but overall quite chipper with life. Now, what would be the opposite of content and happy? Fearful and anxious, aggressive? Your cat's tail's fur. If your cat tail's fur, if the fur on your cat's tail is all but standing on end, this is a major red flag that something is just not sitting right with your pet. Something is wrong in the environment. Your cat could be afraid or about to attack. Now, if your cat's tail is fairly low, not touching the ground, but obviously lowered compared to anything that you are used to seeing, this is more of a defensive posture. This has less to do with fear and more to do with ruthless aggression. While proper context is key when it comes to knowing what your cat's next move could be, that puffy and lowered tail is like a boxer with the gloves up. Your cat is in defense mode. Another sign of an unhappy camper is the tuck tail. A few of these postures, even if you're a new cat owner or you've never even owned a cat, a few of these could be familiar to you in pop culture, if nothing else. In movies, television shows, pictures, just general depictions. If your cat's tail is tucked under the body, very close to the body, not extended in any way, this is yet another version of the fear and anxiety pose, only with very limited or zero aggression. This is submission. Not being a good cat type of submission, but backing away from the challenge type of submission. Now let's talk about the tail in motion. Not really a pose or a posture, but your cat's tail in action. What does all that mean with respect to body language? Let's start with the quick swish. Here again, this is another one of those stereotypical movements that we likely know all about through various means. The bad cat swishing the tail back and forth. If your cat is making those quick motions, this is typically the calm before the storm. Cats often do this when that internal pot starts to boil. It hasn't quite bubbled over yet, but this is usually an outward sign to either stop what you are doing, stand back, whatever the context, because something is about to happen. If your cat is just not feeling the vibes and is quite frustrated, the tail swish, that harsh swish, will be one of the keys to look for. While those annoyance swishes are rather harsh and deliberate, those somewhat mild and less rigid swishes, they're often in response to something that has grabbed your cat's attention. Curious cats often engage in what I call the soft swish. Watch your pet the next time they're in stalk mode, perhaps crouching down prior to jumping on a cat toy. They'll do that little mild swish. It's always important to remember that movement of the tail doesn't always equal happiness. I think we've become programmed to think that a tail in motion is a surefire sign of contentment. I guess dogs wagging their tails led to that mindset, but With felines, there's a bit more on the platter than just the motion, meaning happiness and nothing else. The rhythm of the movement, the ease of the motion, is the motion free-flowing or rather rigid? The way your cat moves that tail, the messages can be quite different. And before I close things out for this topic, I want to touch on anticipation and friendship. The former can be a bit of a blink and you'll miss it type situation, while the latter can be a bit more obvious and linger for a while. If your cat knows that something is coming, for a mealtime perhaps, your cat is looking and waiting for that food. In that motion, your cat could take that tower pose that I mentioned earlier, the tower cat pose, the tail pose, the first posture that I did mention today, but they could also give it a bit of a shake. This is what I call the lucky day pose. The Christmas morning Santa Claus left all these gifts pose. If your cat is in the grips of anticipation and the positive variety, watching for the lucky day pose is something I think you'll quite enjoy. The anticipation of a good meal as the example. And finally, if your cat is really digging you, trusts you, is loyal, your pet, most notably while you're standing and stationary, could use that tail and wrap it around you, almost like a person giving you a side hug. It's not uncommon for cats to give a walk-by hug to the people they enjoy while also making sure that tail hooks the leg just a bit, almost like a hook when fishing. Your cat is hugging you, reeling you in. This is more than just an exercise in scent marking, a cat claiming you as their own. The hook motion with the tail is your cat's way of displaying affection. So, that body language, it can be a lot to take in, but it's worth the understanding. And your cat's tail, who knew your pet's personality was right there, right? Right there in the tail. Happiness, fear, anger, aggression, sadness, affection. It's all right there. If you watch just about any cat for a week, possibly just 24 hours, there's a chance you'll see just about everything if you are keen to those details. Your cat's tail carries a message. Always pay attention to your cat's tail relative to the rest of their behavior within any given moment. Those puzzle pieces, they are always right there for the fitting. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what does your cat's tail tell you? Are you still learning? A work in progress? Or should you be doing this video instead of me? Making this video instead of me? Let me know where you stand on the subject, and please feel free to share any personal ownership stories. Ownership stories about your cat's tail. Not the plant, the cat's tail. Not this. What you see on screen, not this. As always, that comment section, it's all yours. And if you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd certainly love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.